is exactly what God has been waiting for. Can I tell you something? If Israel had not gone into slavery, God was never going to deliver them. There was never going to be deliverance unless there is bondage. Let me repeat this. Do you know that if Israel had not gone into bondage into Egypt, they wouldn't have known God as a deliverer. So bondage has to come first before freedom can come. Poverty has to come first before the blessing can come. Sickness has to come first before healing can come. Scarcity has to come first before abundance can show up. But get ready if you are here and you are ready for something. What is happening in your life right now? It is so that the power of God can manifest. It is so that the power of God can manifest. Are you following what I'm talking about? God never tried to deliver them before they were thrown into the pit. No. Because this is supposed to be a sermon to the king. Let's have something that will convince the king that the God that you serve is different from his God. In your family, they will know that your God is different from their God. In your nation, they will know that your God is totally different from their God. Kuti wako waunonamata mwari nemidzimu zvakatosiyana.
The God that you worship is different from ancestral spirits.
So God intentionally allowed you to go through what you are going through, so that today at this point he can manifest himself as the deliverer. I prophesy over you. You cried yesterday, but tomorrow you shall not cry. If you cried an hour ago, the next hour you shall be smiling. Why? Because the God that you serve, he is alive. So it was 6 days. And Jesus has got the audacity to move around and to get into people's houses, as if nothing is about to happen. Because he believes, why should you be afraid of death when you know that your God is able to raise you from the dead? My God. My God. My God. May God bring you out of this situation now. Because some of you, if you look around you now, there are flames of fire everywhere. Every place you try to touch, it's hot. You try to sit, it's hot. You try to stand, it is hot. You try to run, it's like you're running towards the same heat that you're trying to run away from. But I believe that your time has come. I believe that your time has come. Listen to this. So, as the fire was burning,
apo moto waibvira,
it never touched their clothes.
hauna kutombobata mbatya dzavo.
But the ropes that were tying them
Asi tambo dzavanga vakasungiswa
were burnt to ashes.
dzakatsva kuita dota.
Which means
Zvinoreva kuti
in this fire,
mumoto uyu
there is a reasoning ability.
pane kugona kufunga.
This fire
Moto uyu
knows exactly what it is doing.
unoziva chaicho chauri kuita.
It will burn your problems, but it will not burn you.
Uchapisa dambudziko rako asi haungakupise iwe.
It will go after every problem one by one.
Ucharonda dambudziko rimwe nerimwe.
Because in this fire,
Nekuti mumoto uyu
there is an ability to think.
mune kugona kufunga.
Allow this fire to begin to search your life.
Tendera moto uyu kuti utange kunzvera upenyu hwako.
Where there are chains, where there is bondage,
Pane ngetani, pane utapwa,
this fire will set you free.
moto uyu uchakudzikinura.
This fire will set you free.
Moto uyu uchakudzikinura.
This fire will set you free.
Moto uyu uchakudzikinura.
This fire will set you free.
Moto uyu uchakudzikinura.
Be seated, be seated, be seated.
Muteerere.
Says Jesus was just reclining, relaxing in his own presence.
Saka apo Jesu wakazendama pachigaro chake,
He's not afraid about what is going to happen 6 days from now.
haasi kutya zvakatarisana naye mazuva matanhatu kubva zvino.
Because to him, his death is not even a surprise.
Nekuti kwaari rufu rwake hachisi chishamiso.
Because he's going to intentionally hand himself over into the hands of the people that were going to crucify him.
Nekuti iye emene ndiye ari kunozviisa mumaoko eva vari kuzomurovera pamuchinjikwa.
Before we can even begin to talk about Judas, who then betrayed Jesus, understand
Nofanira kunzwisisa
that Jesus died only when he was ready to die. He knew what was going to happen to him,
waiziva zvaizoitika kwaari,
that he was going to be crucified, and also he knew that he was going to be raised from the dead.
kuti ucharoverwa pamuchinjikwa, zvakare waiziva kuti uchamutswa kuvakafa.
There is an amount of confidence that comes into you
Pane kugadzikana kunouya mauri
when you are prophetic.
kana uri muchiprofita.
When you know what is going to happen after this situation,
Kana uchiziva zvichazoitika mushure mezvizvi,
you begin to enjoy yourself even before you can see it.
unotanga kutofara iwe usati wachiona.
Hello?
Uko here?
The oil's freedom.
Rusununguko rwamafuta.
So, in the middle of that environment, and as Jesus was busy teaching his disciples at the time of the meal,
Jesu ari pakati pekudzidzisa vadzidzi vake panguva yokudya,
here comes a woman.
hoyo murandakadzi
She's coming from Norway.
haazivikanwi kwaari kubva,
She doesn't have an invitation card.
haana kukokwa,
She's not amongst the deacons and the deaconesses of the church.
haasi pakati pavadhikoni vekereke.
How she managed to pass through the security and the ushering.
Kuti vakagona sei kupfuura vatariri,
And she entered into this place, sacred place.
ndokupinda panzvimbo inoera iyi.
How easy it was for her to get access to Jesus.
Kuti zvanga zviri nyore sei kuti asvike pana Jesu.
Was it because of her ability?
Kwanga kuri kugona kwake here?
Was it because of her physical strength,
kana simba rake renyama,
or it was because of what she was carrying.
kana kuti kwaiva kuda kwechaakatakura.
Why? Because it is the oil that gives you access.
Nekuti mafuta ndo anokusvitsa.
She found herself in a place where she didn't qualify, not because of her educational achievements,
Wakazona panzvimbo yanga asingakodzeri kwete nekuda kwefundo yake,
not because she was too much wise,
kwete nekuda kwekutanga akachenjera zvikurusa,
not because Mary was intelligent, but she knows what to bring,
asi anoziva chokuuya nacho.
especially when you are coming to an environment where you have not been invited. You need to bring the anointing along with you.
Zvikuru sei kana uchiuya kunzvimbo yausina kukokwa, unofanira kutakura zodzo uchiuya naro.
Why? Because when you carry the anointing,
Chikonzero kana ukatakura zodzo,
you will find yourself in places
unozoona wakupinda munzvimbo
where your
dzese
father has never been,
kusati kwatombosvikwa
where your
namai vako.
mother has never been.
Kusati kwatombosvikwa namai vako.
Why? It's not because of your ability, but it's because of the oil that you are holding on to.
Chikonzero hakusi kugona kwako, asi mafuta wakabata.
She came to Jesus
Wakauya kuna Jesu,
carrying a bottle of oil.
wakatakura bhodhoro ramafuta.
It was then the oil that gave her access into the presence.
Mafuta ndiwo akamugonesa kusvika pauvepo hwaJesu.
She bypassed all the protocol.
Wakadarika vose vanga varipo.
The system was not even in support of what she was doing.
Urongedzwa hwezvinhu hwanga husingatsigire basa raakanga achiita.
And yet, still, she managed to find her way to Jesus.
Asi zvakadaro wakagona kusvika pana Jesu.
Not because of the way she was dressing,
Kwete nekuda kwekapfekero kwaanga akaita,
but because she was carrying something very, very important.
asi nekuda kwekutanga akatakura chinhu chinokosha zvikurusa.
So from now,
Saka kubva iko
if you are
zvino,
going somewhere,
kana uchienda kune ipi nzvimbo,
be it an interview,
hazvina mhosva washedzwa kunobvunzurudzwa.
whatever it is,
Chipi nechipi,
make sure that you don't leave the anointing when you go there.
kuona kuti hausiye zodzo paunoenda ikoko.
The moment you carry the anointing,
Apo wangotakura zodzo,
no matter how difficult it is for other people to enter, it will be simple for you to enter.
hazvina mhosva zvingaomere vamwe sei kuti vapinde, zvichakurerukira kuti upinde.
So she was there.
Saka akawanikwa apo.
With her, the Bible calls it an alabaster box.
Wakatakura rinonzi nebhaibheri bhokisi rearabhasta.
So if you look at it in different Gospels, you'll notice that some preferred to call it a bottle, some preferred to call it an alabaster box.
Ukatarisa kuvanyori venhau dzaJesu, unoona kuti vamwe vakada kuriti bhodhoro, vamwe vakariti bhokisi.
But what matters to me today is not the container, it is the content.
Asi chine basa kwandiri nhasi hachisi chakatakura, asi chakatakurwa.
Whether it was a box, whether it was a bottle, but all I know is that there was oil inside.
Kuti ranga riri bhokisi here kana ranga riri bhodhoro, chandinoziva ndechekuti manga muine mafuta mukati.
And the oil was extracted from a plant called nard.
Mafuta aya aibva pachimerwa, pamuti unonzi nard,
Which is found in eastern India.
unowanikwa kumabudira zuva kweIndia.
It is very, very expensive.
Inodhura zvikurusa,
It smells good.
unonhuhwirira zvakanakisisa.
And there was oil in that alabaster box,
Makanga muine mafuta
which she was ready to sacrifice in the presence of Jesus.
aakanga azvipira kuti aite chipiriso pamberi paJesu.
So she's coming to Jesus,
Saka ari kuuya kuna Jesu
carrying something very, very expensive.